All right, David. So we've talked a bit about the most common visa, which is a tourist visa. Let's talk next about business visas, because as I knew it, you had a typical collection of visas in Vietnam: tourist, business, investor, spousal.
That's correct.
Of some kind. Those are the main common ones. So let's talk next about the business visas. Are they issuing business visas or not yet?
They issuing business visa at the moment very easy. So before in the COVID time, Vietnam is very strict on business visa. Who can enter and who cannot. You have to go through a long process with like 4 to 5 weeks to just get the letter from committee of people, and then you have to apply it to get the visa letter from the immigration department. But right now, if you have a company which is operating already like 3-4 years, the new company cannot sponsor. Please remember that the new company just formed like last year cannot sponsor you. So at the moment we are speaking, they provide 3-month business visa very easily if you have the company.
And do you know what the cost of that is?
Normally right now it's going to be $85 to $90 for 3-month business visa with multiple entries.
Okay, and that's one you would you have to do that with an agent. That's not an e-visa, go on the website thing.
Yes, that had to be go offline. There were going to be like people go into the immigration department, apply the paperwork that your company will need to sign and stamp.
Right. So about 2 years ago, when I arrived in Vietnam, lots of people were getting business visas that didn't really have any business backing. And then that changed. They cracked down on that. You actually couldn't just get a business visa because it was cheaper and longer and say, oh yeah, I'm in business. What business? Monkey business. And then I know about the People's Committee thing. That was a big deal, right? Because that's a local bureaucracy. And here's somebody that wants their visa approved. It's like the last thing they care about on their list. That was a lot of trouble. So that's a big development that now no People's Committee. Right?
That's it, correct.
A lot easier. And let's just to be clear, like the 30-day tourist visa, that's single entry only, right?
Yes.
So you enter on day 1. By day 30, you have to exit. If you exit earlier, your visa's done. You're not coming back because you have days left. When David talked about a business visa for a longer time period, that means throughout the duration of that visa, halfway you need to fly home or fly to another country to do some business. You still have days on your visa, right back in, no problem. So then the next one would be probably investor visas. I know it's complicated. And one thing I can tell you that really impressed me, because I was looking into this, is that David has contacts for all the stuff that's not directly related to the visa to set up a business, right? If you're going to invest, he's very knowledgeable in that. And one of the key things that impressed me about him is I talked to a lot of agents. They were like, well, these are all the requirements, but don't worry, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll play this game, we'll have some fake paperwork, you'll get your visa. Yeah, guess what? And there'll be big trouble when that ends. And David was like, well, we don't do that. We actually do it correctly so that your paperwork is rock solid and you really are an investor, really are tied into a business. And he still knew the best ways to do it. Okay, so tell us a bit about the investor visas.
So investor visa right now have 2 main categories that you will need to know. The people who invest under 3 billion Vietnam dong, and
that's
people
billion,
who invest
right?
over 3 billion Vietnam dong. So people who invest under that amount will get the DT4 visa, which means maximum 1 year, multiple entries investor visa. And people who invest above that amount are gonna get a TRC, which means temporary resident card. And it's a separate card from your passport. You can use that to exit and enter Vietnam without any problem, and it usually has to valid in 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so and 3 billion dong is about $150,000. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Right. So those are the, you're either above or below that, and those are your options. So there's a lot of complexity to that. Also, these magic letters, TRC, that's something a lot of people seek in Vietnam. If you're not looking just to visit and you're thinking you want to stay longer, TRC is important. So if this video is a success and people like it and they want it, maybe David and I could spend a little more time on TRCs and things like teaching employment in Vietnam, because that's another big category with its own challenges, both in the teaching business, changing laws in Vietnam in that regard, and getting a visa. So then the last one would be spousal visa, right? And I think there's probably two. There's one where like you're engaged, or there's one if you're already married. Is that right? Or are they the same visa?
Mostly they are for people who married with Vietnamese citizen.
Okay, so you're a foreigner married to a Vietnamese man or a woman, and this was again something that struck me that was a little different in Vietnam. In a lot of the countries I'm familiar with, once you're married to that national of that country, things are pretty easy. You know, you get a 5-year visa or you get longer extensions, and there's not much requirements other than proving you're married. In Vietnam, it seemed to me that there was a little more complexity than that, and that you don't just get married, come into the country, and just stay forever, no problem.
So the thing with the marriage spousal visa in Vietnam is like to apply for that 3-year temporary resident card, depending on your spouse, is going to be very difficult. You had to notarize your marriage certificate, notarize your wife's ID, notarize her family book, notarize your residency proof by police, and that's going to be a very long process. Some people who go directly to the immigration department in Da Nang, all they got is like 1 year, and that's all. The immigration office in Da Nang doesn't provide longer option for them. But if you work through agent, you will always get 3-year TRC.
Right. So as you can see, you might be married to a national of the country, but you only get a 1-year stay. And there's a lot of complexities to go into it. So again, if that's something that's popular, we could try and talk a little bit more about that. Well, David, I really want to thank you for taking the time with me to talk about this. I appreciate our friendship and our relationship. Happy I got to know you in Vietnam, that we could do this together. And you've seen David, you've heard him speak. He really understands this business. He doesn't make commitments he can't keep. He'll be honest with you if your situation is not one he can help you with. He's not one of those agents going to take the money, take the passport, and then 6 weeks later, oh, sorry, your visa's expired. Too bad for you. I couldn't do it. And these things happen with agents in Vietnam. And he really can address more challenging situations and figure out a structure that will work for you. So I strongly endorse him. And in the description of this, we're going to have his WhatsApp contact, website, et cetera, et cetera. So you can go straight to David and get solid information. And if you watch this video and it's much past March 17th, hey, shoot him an email, send him a message on WhatsApp or a call. Remember the time change in Vietnam, huh? Because like when it's 8 o'clock here, it's 10 o'clock in the morning there. And touch base with him, make sure that there's no new changes. It'd be a lot easier and a lot better experience than trying to search through a million postings on the web that may or may not be accurate. So David, I just really want to thank you for taking the time, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and sell lots of visas.
Thank you, Peter, for having me today. I really appreciate the effort that you put in the video and help me to spreading the good news and the new policy for foreigners around the world.
Well, we're really happy. Vietnam's such a beautiful country, and it's awesome that Vietnam's welcoming visitors back. So thanks for taking the time. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Hey, well, I hope you liked this video and that you found it informative. So do me a favor, hey, like, share, and subscribe, and then there'll be more. Thanks all. Bye.